So, Mohan was nicknamed Slow Mo by her colleagues because she takes the time to get to know her patients on a deeper level. And despite criticism, her method actually proved to be successful, such as with the sickle cell patient and the influencer Sasha, as she found out details that others possibly wouldn't have discovered. This made me think of how patients, particularly women, often feel that doctors don't listen to them or just try to get them in and out as soon as possible. And I was wondering if you think that Mohan was written as somewhat of a response to that.
Oh, absolutely. The second I read her, I was like, "Oh, this is a response to the medical industrial complex," you know? Like the one thing a lot of my friends who are doctors say is that they mention how they have to get hit a certain patient quota because of insurance every hour, which is like so crazy. I think it's like 4 an hour or something like that, which is so insane because like even being like a TV doctor, I'm kind of like I think I can only do like 1 an hour like that is that is like the most I could possibly do without feeling like I'm gonna kill someone.
Yeah.
And so it is interesting because yes, there's like flip sides to her where she is a burden on her colleagues, but that's not really their fault. It's kind of the system's fault. Like I'm taking a more holistic approach in a
Right.
system that doesn't really want me to do that. Like arguably medical industrial complexes are built more so for profit than actually for patient care.
Right.
So I think it's interesting she's this person pushing against the system and she is in a system that doesn't really want her to exist there. And absolutely I love that you brought up the patients because I think she is such a good doctor for someone who maybe sometimes won't be believed or would be misdiagnosed. Nandi, the psych patient, I mean, I can talk day and night about how um, so many psychiatry holes end up being skewed towards more so people of color, right? Even if they don't really have like higher rates of incidence in psychiatric illnesses. So it's definitely interesting playing a character like this, and I feel so grateful to have had that opportunity.
In the season finale, after the ER begins to die down following the mass shooting, Mohan has a major adrenaline rush, which brings a bit of comedic relief, but later she has a complete crash out and breaks down in tears. Take us through filming that moment.
Yeah, I remember getting the script and just thinking, okay, I need to research what this feels like for doctors. And so I spoke to a bunch of med techs who were on our set where they would talk about how it would just be this sudden wave of just emotion that would come up once they were like done with a shift. Especially when you don't really know that that's about to happen. You think that like you want to like stay a little bit longer or stay in the hospital a little bit longer and then all of a sudden you're home and you're just like whoa, I just did this incredibly traumatic thing on like a 2-year old and I saw all of that and I don't know how to like get rid of those memories. And so it was very easy to pull on those memories because we had just filmed like 14 where I do the oh my gosh, the pulmonary embolism for like the cardiac pulmonary embolism.
Yes, yes.
I mean, the actor was so great in conveying like the grief that he went through in his last few moments at that with that scene. And then there were so many other scenes where it was just so hard to like film because you just see these like really traumatic things, right? And then I remember filming the crash and it just all came up like it just felt so natural, this just grief that we're in this situation as a country, as a hospital system, as doctors. So that was just such an amazing moment to film, and it felt really cathartic as well. And then the adrenaline high, I mean, I got so much input from everyone who was a med tech on our staff about how that felt in their body. So that
Yeah.
was very fun to play with for sure.
Did you have to give yourself some extra caffeine for that?
It's so interesting. I did kind of like have like an extra Diet Coke, like not too much because I don't want
Just
to
a
be like
little.
too twitchy, but I did have like an extra Diet Coke in my routine that day because I was just like, okay, I think I just want to be a little amped
Little
up.
extra pep.
Yeah.
Do you think that some of the tears, obviously majority of them were from the adrenaline high, but do you think that any of it was a result of McKay saying that Mohan needs to get a life outside of work? Because she seemed really, really upset by that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all of it. Like I think classifying it as just one thing is too simple. I mean, she does need to get a life. I remember another thing that kept coming up when I was even filming the adrenaline high scenes was, well, I can't go home. There's nothing to go home to. I
Oh, yeah.
there's nothing to go home to. I think she even says, you know, "You're gonna crash," and I say, "Well, I'd rather be here. I'd rather be here when I crash because everything I have is here." You know, I don't wanna go home, because, like, I don't have anyone to decompress with, and so I definitely think that's some of it. I definitely think there is this sense of grief in being like, "I've sacrificed so much to get here, and I've hit this career high, and it doesn't feel right because it is like all of this is just so awful to experience and I'm working in the system that I don't really know wants me to be here. Like I don't know if this is like what I want to do. It's just so many complicated feelings about everything I think that's going on for her. And I think 15 just does such a good job of the finale just does such a good job of exposing all of that about Samira.
You guys obviously had a very long day and there was a mass casualty event, so it wasn't like a typical day in the ER.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I remember finding out that that was, you know, the big event in the season, and I just thought that was such a ballsy move for everyone on the show to
Mhm.
do, especially because, and I think this needs to be a conversation around gun control so much more. I mean, the gun control issue we have in this country is a public healthcare crisis. It is the leading cause of death for children, like even more so than cancer, which is absurd. And I think if we start addressing this as well, people are just dying. Like we need to do something about it. Like maybe that's gonna change the conversation and centering it around the fact that I mean, the hospital system is overwhelmed and you're kind of adding things that could overwhelm it further in the environment. And so I just think the show just does such a good job of exposing all of that for sure.